Welcome to the Pistol Midweek Mental Break.
Mark, it's middle of the week, brother. Midweek. Again, midweek mental break. With us today in the studio is Mark, Tony, and a guest today is Robert, who's joining us, who just finished up the podcast. Did a good job there. So normally during the midweek, I like to bring up a couple of stories. But this week, I saw one story. I think you guys have all seen it. It's out of St. Paul, Minnesota. And we know that we've had this in the past midweek. They have issues out there with their civilians, I guess, or whatever you want to call them, society. They just absolutely hate their fucking cops over there. Right? I think Robert said they were talking about disarming them. Or
yeah, there's been a bunch of issues in Minnesota. It's everywhere.
Yeah, so I'm still working on how to insert videos in this post-production shit. So I'll try to insert the video. If not, I'll put the link in the bottom below.
Put the right one on there.
Yeah.
Not one of your home ones.
Not one of the home ones.
That's going to be trouble.
So
home videos.
Just for the backstory, St. Paul, Minnesota, patrol officers patrolling his beat, mind his own business. He's got Axon on. It's not activated, but if you know Axon, it just constantly just keeps rolling and rolling until you activate it with a 30-second buffer. And as he's patrolling, you clearly see that he's involved in some kind of accident. The car bumps and moves. And what he does in the video is you see him grab the mic. He checks off. I think he checks off. That's what I would have done. It looks like that's what he's doing. He activates his Axon, and he opens the car door, and he steps out to his left. And he looks over his shoulder, and he's immediately being charged at by a subject with a very large knife, clearly not asking for directions. There's no doubt about this person is trying to harm this officer. And the officer gets out, starts giving commands, loses his footing, and falls on his back. As he falls on the back, he does all the tactical stuff that he's supposed to keep him out of bay, and gets up, still retreats, tells him to get away, get back, drop the knife. He even goes into plain language. What are you doing? Why are you doing this? Back up, back up, back up. Drop the knife, and then he ends up shooting him, killing him. And
so there's like 6 warnings right there.
Oh, he gives far, far more than that. I mean, from the time he steps out of the car to the time of the shooting, we're probably at 25, 30, easy. I mean, everything from drop the knife, what are you doing? Get away from me, get away, get away. He's actively backing away from the threat.
Like he's in a retreat almost.
He's retreating from the threat. I don't recall, I'm not saying he didn't, and I'm not saying it would matter, but I don't remember him saying, drop the knife or I'll shoot or anything like that, or stop or I'll shoot. Just drop the knife,
But his weapon was displayed.
Absolutely.
Right.
Just like the suspect's weapon was displayed.
Right.
So he came at him, a gunfight with a knife. He loses his battle. And they played the whole Axon, and you can actually... The officer, after he shoots him and calls for backup and gives the call of shots fired, you can hear him talking to himself. Like, he doesn't understand what the fuck just happened. Yeah, like he doesn't know why. It's different as a cop when you go out and they say you're going to this call with a guy with a gun.
Yeah, your image and
when crap finds you, it's like...
Right, you're just like, what the hell?
I was just trying to get off shift.
Yeah, and... So he knew he had no idea. I mean, as cops and firefighters, I think you all know we never really go into green, right? Like, not even at home. We're always somewhere floating around yellow. Yeah. We're up above that, and we're into red and black. And so the problem that I have with this, and the reason I wanted to take up pretty much all of the midweek was they did a press conference. The family of the victim did a press conference, and they were condemning the officer for shooting him, saying it was excessive and unnecessary, and that they wanted the release of more video because there was more to the story, right? And now, clearly, the officer is the only one in the car. There's only one video that we know of, unless the suspect has a video or surveillance video from around the area. But I think that if I remember correctly, he's kind of in a neighborhood. I think he's just kind of patrolling the neighborhood. But at the end of the day, I could not. It bothered me for the last 4 fucking days.
at the end.
Yeah, that's why you.
That's
fuck,
$20.
I owe you $20.
Manny owes me $20 for saying at the end of the day.
Ah, you
Because that's his
suckhead. So, all right,
Sorry,
I owe you
folks.
$20.
Back to the story.
I thought we were talking about previous podcasts. But.
No.
So, so anyways,
That's awesome.
That's Mark's pet peeve, man. He hates that fucking. Now you do it on purpose. I really
hate
didn't.
that phrase, man. I do.
So, but what ends up happening is that when they allow, the thing that bothered me more than anything was that the media actually went out to listen to what they had to say. Right? Well, I mean, what the fuck
Yeah, there's no discernment in the media at all. It's like, oh, wait, you have something to say? Let's give them full venue.
But why would you? My thing was,
understand that.
why would you allow, like the minute that they started talking about stuff and it sounded like nonsense, shut it off.
But it's
don't
spicy.
Publish it. Don't publish it.
Yeah.
But you're right. So all they're worried about now is, they used to call it back in, 100 years ago as yellow journalism, where they just did all sensationalized, non-real stories just to try to sell newspapers.
Right.
And that's where they're at now.
Well,
We live in a Jerry Springer society. Every episode of the news, of everything, has to be like so over the top, crazy, ridiculous that there's no logic, no reason. Let me ask you, moms and dads out there, if your son, daughter, was in that patrol car and some man came running at them with a knife, what would you want your son to do or your daughter to do?
Well, and they know that the officer didn't hesitate. I mean, I'm not gonna, Monday morning quarterback him. I think he gave him enough time to contemplate his decision before he shot him.
For sure.
Yeah.
And the fact that they gave them airtime to say that this was excessive and unnecessary and that there's more to this story.
The airtime should have been, look at how many chances this guy gave him.
Right.
To not do it.
Or what they should have said was, don't come at a cop with a knife.
Yeah.
What the fuck did the cop do? Right? You're just for these same things that are coming in. And I don't like to get into the political aspect of it. We're not here for that. I just find it absurd, just like we did with these firefighters in Phoenix, that when they kill this guy, the family gets to come out and say it's excessive to their family member, but at no time do they care about the officer or the firefighter's family members, that it was excessive that you shot at these people while you were committing this crime.
Right.
And
well,
I think...
well, and the other side of that, too, is even if they interview these people and they say the dumbest shit, what's going to happen to that? Oh, that's going to be made into a viral video.
Right.
And then there's your News Channel 4 going viral.
Yeah.
They want that shit,
They're throwing gasoline
They're
on
exactly.
a smoldering
They're just
fire
fueling that fucking
that's really
fire.
not there.
Right. And fortunately, I haven't seen anything on social media since. That was really the only thing. But I'm hoping, and I got to tell you, man, I have buddies in L.A., know a couple guys out of NYPD, but, man, I'd fuck Minnesota, man.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what the hell's going on over there.
Isn't that crazy, though, man? That's in the heart of the United States.
I don't know where it is.
Like
it's craziness to me.
Extreme mentality. Like
it's like middle America.
That you sometimes find on the coast.
Right.
It's in the heart of America.
Yeah,
Just like
so...
Ferguson was.
the heart of America. This crazy motherfucker right here.
Right in the heart.
So, anyways, I definitely wanted to bring that out. Maybe I just needed to voice it because it was really fucking pissing me off.
Therapy.
Yeah. And if you're watching, leave your comments. Look, I don't care what your position is on this. Everybody's got their opinion, but there are factual bases out there. There's no such thing as my truth. Okay, there's only the truth. If you have an opinion, man, put it up on the fucking comments. I'm not going to take them down. But I just can't figure out why, when it's clearly on video that this officer is being attacked, that you can come back later and say it's excessive and not believe what you're seeing on the video. Because if it was the other way around, you'd want us to believe the video. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah.
And I think that's reasonable.
And here's a perfect example of that. This was 1,000 years ago, and now in today's media, but remember Rodney King?
I was going to touch on that.
Remember Rodney King?
Yeah.
Rodney King, and they showed all these officers beating that man with a nightstick repeatedly,
Right.
repeatedly, as he's laying on the ground. Y'all believed in that video.
Right.
Y'all believed in that
I
video.
look.
and
I
so did I.
Yeah,
I was like,
I believed it. I wasn't a cop
what?
at the time.
Yeah, I wasn't either.
Yeah, and I was
how
like,
can they do
fuck
that?
them motherfuckers, man. They beat
Like,
him
they're
for
beating
no
the
They
reason.
beat
shit
that
out of
man
him.
as
Not
he
necessary.
laid
Yeah.
on the ground.
Right.
He laid
That-
on the ground.
Now that is excessive.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They should have been charged.
Yeah.
Right. Like I don't have any problem saying that. Even before I was a cop, wasn't a cop hater.
No.
But that on video is bad.
But you're also a reasonable human being, and I think that's
Exactly.
the difference.
Well,
Is we have to come and actually throw that fucking out there.
Yeah.
Well,
Because that's what's being ignored.
And I don't know that it's reasonableness as much as I'm just not taking a side.
True.
Right.
True. Yeah.
Look, you like so and so, you don't like so and so. I'm not going to take a side.
Yeah.
You just don't beat the shit out of a guy in the middle of the street
Exactly.
with your
Well,
nightstick.
and here's what happened out of that. As you guys remember, then they were all found not guilty. Then they had the city riots, and then all the collateral ripples that went through there. That truck driver, Reginald Denny, gets yanked out of his truck.
Right.
And a crowd of guys just beat him senseless and smashed bricks into his head, and
Right.
to the point is he doesn't even remember any of it. So it's like that's what all these ripples occur from when you
Yeah.
know what, when reasonable human beings can't just look at it and say, you know what, that's just wrong.
Yeah, wrong is wrong and
leave it
right is
alone.
right. It's not going to
Leave it
change.
alone.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, if you did something wrong, you're going to get called in the carpet. You're going to get in trouble for it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I watch this thing and I think to myself, look, all you got to do is own up to the fact that, hey, that was my son that did that. It was wrong. And unfortunately, he was killed for a wrong action.
Yeah.
Newsflash for you: your children do wrong things.
We do wrong things.
Everybody
it doesn't matter.
does wrong things.
Yeah.
We're supposed to
somebody's
do
child.
wrong things so that we decide to do the right thing
Right.
if
Yeah.
we're
Yeah.
reasonable human beings.
Right.
I've done wrong things.
Right.
Exactly.
And so for me, that was just, it pissed me off to no end to know that the media would even put their cameras up for them to say that. I came from a time where when I was patrolling, there was no Axon camera. It was camera car. And there was only 2 or 3 in a fleet, right? And we just...
I had a cassette recorder.
Yeah, and we just wrapped
What's
up. We just wrapped up a podcast for millennials versus
It's a
us.
piece of petroleum that they now make into plastic straws.
Yeah. He also, Robert, for your information, he listened to 8 tracks. I'm sure you don't know. what
Yeah,
the fuck
once
that is
again.
right here.
I have.
He has
8
no
tracks.
fucking idea.
Yeah, and records.
So, anyways,
I scratch records.
yeah. So, anyways, that's what I wanted to talk about. I appreciate you guys following up this week for the midweek. And next week, Mark, we'll talk about current events of that week, all right?